Welcome back to the vlog, and welcome here to WEWAC yet again. We are heading back out to Mariama. I just got here from Mariama. It was just really crummy weather. But since I've been out here in the ground for about 30 minutes now, it's actually looking a lot better. So we'll see how it is on the way back, and hopefully we can get in because I have people I need to pick up that need to come back out here. So we'll see how it goes. Header on, fuel pump on, my fuel's on.
TOS system test, okay.
Over 14%. Once our oil pressure comes up a little bit, we'll introduce our fuel. Then the oil pressure kind of jumps back up under the yellow and into the green. Max out at 681. Generator on, prop forward. Alternator on. Aux bus. Well, I dropped off a couple guys from the Rural Airstrip Authority or Association, I'm not sure, RAA. They're doing an airstrip inspection on Mariama, and then we're jumping over to Yembe next to do another one today, and then heading up here, and then we have a couple more on the CPIC Tuesday and Wednesday as well. So a lot of busyness of getting a lot of airstrips inspected finally, so that's nice. Moresby 1267, November Tango Kilo, taxi.
November Tango Kilo, Moresby, go ahead.
November Tango Kilo, taxi, WEWAC, Mariama, 1 POB.
November Tango Kilo, copy taxi, no reported traffic.
November Tango Kilo. Well, they really haven't given us small airplanes that much room to be taxiing through here, especially considering this is where they bring in and out their luggage for our airlines PNG or PNG Air. All stations WEWAC, Kodiak November Tango Kilo will be departing on runway 10 to the south, will be on climb 8000, all stations WEWAC. On, landing light on, and then our taxi light back to pulse. Come both ways. Looks like we got rain out to the east today still. That's the way I came in just a little bit ago. We'll just do intersection departure because I'm empty and mission. Let's see our flaps. I'm going to board. If we're not airspeed allowed by the next taxiway, we'll board on the runway. Full reverse, heavy braking. Cut out, pull off, and shut off if we're going off after takeoff. Pitch ready 5, make a left-hand turn, consider EPL, consider feather to the beach. Cut out, pull off, and shut off. Full flaps 80, masters, crack my door. 30 degrees, so 1540 for 1590. Ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. Rotate at 55. There's 55 and rotate. That chime you're hearing is my cargo door. It thinks that it's open. The solenoid has been giving us problems. I thought we had it fixed today, but apparently not. We'll initially just climb out at 85 knots as always, which gives us about 7.5 degrees if you look out here on this. 7.5 degrees will give you 85 knots with 20 degrees of flaps. We'll go 10 degrees of flaps over 85 and climbing. Wait till we're over 90 before we take out the last 10 degrees of flaps. And then also bring our prop to 2,000 RPM. Release that back pressure real quick. For ITT is 720 and make a right-hand turn towards the terrain. We'll turn off our terrain awareness system. Moresby 1267, November Tango Kilo, departure.
November Tango Kilo, Moresby, go ahead.
November Tango Kilo departed WEWAC, time 27, tracking 197 on climb 8000, estimating Mariama 56.
Number Tango Kilo, copy departure. No reported traffic. Secretary Mariama, no contact this frequency, colon 8819.
Mariama 8819, secondary, November 10 Kilo. Now that we're up and out, we'll do our landing light off, engine inlet back to normal, our igniters are turned off. Yeah, I just came out here about probably 45 minutes ago, maybe an hour by now, and it was just kind of really...
November 10 Kilo for taxi, Romeo 1260.
Go ahead for November 10 Kilo.
Taxi Romeo, road animal for wheel rack, estimate wheel rack about 5'3", and request the conditions of wheel rack, recap, thanks.
It's cleared nicely in the past half hour, no rain, anywhere within probably 20 miles radius. I believe it was 1009er, should have no issues.
Thank you.
You can see out here in front of us, it's nice and clear off here to the east, southeast, and then kind of here out to the north, northwest or whatever. You got all that blue, that just means rain. Although I am trying to build up a little bit of my IMC time because you have to get 3 hours every 3 months, so I kind of need to have a little bit. I haven't been getting that much just because this year has actually been really dry. So my plan is just to actually go over to my course and then just fly out there and then see what I see along the way, and hopefully get at least 15 minutes or so in the clouds today. Although it might just be that we're right on the edge of it all the way out there. By the time I get out there, I have to head over to Yembi, which is just another 7-minute flight over to another kind of jungly, right on the river airstrip. It should be clearing out as the day goes on and just have a nice high overcast by the time I get back here to WEWAC this afternoon. If you guys are in the market for new sunglasses, I sell these on my website. They're metal frames, glass lenses. They're non-polarized. I have them non-polarized just so I can see all the screens. Yeah, I know some polarized you can still do that, but most of the time you can only see the first screen, and at angles you can't see the other one. So anyways, then they're designed just to go underneath of over-the-head headset. Really nice. I'm really pleased with them. So if you're interested in some aviators, check out my website, and I have a bunch of other stuff like that if you want to help support the channel. Looking where this magenta line goes, it looks like it's just bordering all of the kind of the scuzzy rain and clouds and stuff. So I might as well just turn more on course because I don't think we're not going to get any IMC, I don't think, on the way out there. You can see this thing here up here flashing 8,000, and this one down here. So that's flashing right as I go through. It lets me know I have 1,000 foot to go. And this one, once we pass 7,000 feet, well, 6,800 feet, it starts flashing because we have that set up in our menu. Just because when we leave Goroka, we have it on our local QNH and our altimeter setting, and we want to be able to change that to our area QNH or altimeter setting, however you want it. Once we get out, so that we have that just flashing just to remind us pilots, oh yeah, we got to remember to switch that. Charms is letting me know it's 200 feet to go to 8,000. As we're leveling off though, you're going to feel, you're probably not going to feel, if you're flying this on a home simulator, you're not going to feel, but if you're another airplane, you will. You're going to feel that you need to put in a little bit of left rudder pressure now. Basically, you're taking out that right rudder pressure that you had climbing up. So you got all these left-hand turning tendencies in an airplane and climbs and stuff. You can go Google it. I'm not going to go into the details with that, mainly because I don't remember everything, and I don't want to sound like an idiot.
It's science.
But there are 4 factors that play into that. Anyways, as you're leveling off though, you want to take out some of that right rudder pressure so that your ball's centered. So you can see here, if I don't touch anything, it's off to the left. So I'm going to have to step on my left rudder to even it out, and then my rudder trim until I can feel that pressure being released, and then just kind of fine tune it. Now that we're up here, leveled off at 8,000, our airspeed's 142, which it doesn't need to be. So we're going to bring our power lever here on back, and it brings that top number, our torque, and we'll bring it on back down to 1250, which we'll cruise out there at. Also, just to show you, now that I've reduced the power, now my ball's just a little bit out. So I'm going to have to step on that rudder again, and then hit my rudder trim down here until I can get it even back out, and then just fine tune it from there. This is the strip chart from Adiyama. It's pretty much sea level. All of this out here is just the Civic plains, and it's just like one big huge marsh nearly. Not all of it, but it has a lot of swampland out here because it's so flat. We've got this the Civic River that goes all the way out here. It starts way out at Moonbill. I'm taking you guys out there, nearly Indonesia. and it comes and winds its way all the way out to the ocean. But because it's so flat, the river just like winds back and forth because there's not enough slope for it to actually flow. It just kind of sits there and slowly goes down. Anyways, this is on a lake, not far from there. Lots of crocodiles out here. We don't have alligators here, just crocodiles. And like I said, I dropped off some guys that are doing an inspection on the runway. So we've had to do inspections on every one of the runways that we fly for to make sure that it is up to our standards, and not only our standards, but also Papua New Guinea's standards on what they require. Well, our elevation is 25 feet. I could go ahead and set up my descent profile in here by just putting in 1,000 feet for my altitude, and then come down here, and we'll probably just put in 800 feet for our descent. It puts a top of descent mark right here, and Betty will let me know when it's time to head on down there. It's super flat, nothing special about it. They're out there, the locals are out there cutting the airstrip by hand today. So there's a ton of people on the runway, and I had to actually go around because they weren't getting off the runway, even though I was landing last time. So hopefully they've got the memo that I actually do want to land now. And yeah, they'll move out of the way this time.
Do that from now on, that would be great. And I'll go ahead and make sure you get another copy of that memo.
As we're looking forward here, it looks like it's really nice and scattered right here, but the further on we get out, we've still got 28 miles to run. It looks like it's going to be, there's one area that has a little bit more grouping of clouds. If for some reason we had to go through those clouds for any reason, our minimum safe for this track right here is 3,500. So that's if I was on my descent, which I will be about that time. The lowest I can go is 3,500 until I'm visual and I can find my way down. More than likely, I'll be able to find some holes and wiggle my way around those clouds. But just in case, it's good to know what my minimum safe for this little leg is.
Vertical track.
All right, that's Betty letting me know that it's now time to head on down. Flip it to 700 feet per minute at first. Put in a little bit of left rudder. Once it zooms up to 800, then we'll click it on up to 800, and it will kind of even itself out. Yeah, see now it's 950, 900, and slowly works back to 800. Also, we'll turn our altitude select here all the way down to 1,000 feet for our pattern altitude. These kind of days are really, really fun to fly for me. When it's kind of scuzzy weather out everywhere, it's still in the morning, nothing's really kind of blown up to become too convective, and it's just kind of a stable environment, but it's still like lots and lots of clouds and kind of rain or drizzle and whatnot. I think these days are super fun because it gives you a little bit of a challenge, but it's not a stressful kind of challenge. It's just kind of like everything's just kind of there. Maybe sometimes your pattern will be a little bit different. You might have to rearrange it, or maybe do a right-hand pattern instead of a left hand or something like that. I absolutely love days when it's like this. And it also keeps the cockpit nice and cool. You're not burning up in here. Once we get on the ground, it'll still probably be in like the mid-80s. The humidity will be really high, but it won't be like baking you in the sun, though. Well, it looks like those clouds that I was seeing are actually a little bit further on past where Madiyama is, so we'll just figure out, kind of wiggle our way down through some little holes in the clouds to get down. I think once we get down over top of the lake, it should probably clear up. Typically around lakes and stuff, not always, but a lot of times it will be, the weather will be just a tiny bit different. I'm going to switch to my heading mode, hit heading on my autopilot. Take about 5 or 6 degrees off to the left, because I'm seeing out here, there's clouds, quite a few right here, because there are a couple little tiny hills right before the lake. So I'm basically heading down to the end of the lake. So you can see here, if I were just to continue on my straight track, it goes right over top of these. There's a little bit of some mountains here, so I'm coming to the end of the lake and then going up, and I think I'll have a better chance of just continuing on my descent straight on in without really having to maneuver much, because it looks like I'm seeing sort of maybe some holes up there. We'll see. Curve selectors and brakes, we'll turn TAWs off. Our VREF, which is our approach speed, we're at 5510, so 64 knots, which is already set in there. Our lights and inlet we'll do when we get a little bit slower. We'll scrape over top of this cloud, and then I think we could probably drop down right after it. On this one, if we do have to go around for any reason, it's power up, 20 degrees of flaps, pitch for 73 knots, reset ITT to 740, and maneuver is required. There's the end of the, well no, that's a different lake, not the one I want. Here we go, just like I thought. They just kind of dropped off right here. So we'll continue on our descent down to the end of the lake. All stations, Mariama 1267, November, Tango Kilo, 7 miles to the north, passing 3,700. Circuit time, Mariama 54. I love flying around clouds this close. So awesome looking. Never gets old. There's a really nice big hole right here that I can circle on down in and get underneath this layer right here. If it is a layer, in fact, I'm not sure. Once I turn around this corner, it'll kind of determine how open it is over the lake. And yeah, we'll take this hole in here. Mariama is directly ahead of me, 3 miles.
Hotel Charlie November at time 55, column primary 124.99, secondary 8861 or 5565.
Moresby 1267, November, Tango Kilo in the circuit, Mariama, cancel SAR.
November Tango Kilo, Mariama, SAR terminated.
November Tango Kilo.
And November Tango Kilo, request intentions after Mariama.
We'll be flying over to Yembi, then on to Wewak.
November Tango Kilo, and request level 1 departure.
It'll be below 5,000, November Tango Kilo.
November Tango Kilo.
Fly over top of it, that way they can all see that I'm here. They're still kind of cutting down there, it looks like. Reduce our power, 10 degrees of flaps, props and harness. We've already canceled SAR. We are at pattern altitude, 1,000 feet. We'll turn final at 600 actually, at that little island out there off to my left.
Secretary report again on the ground.
20 degrees of flaps. Went 64 in final, so 74 and 84. 84 in downwind, a little bit fast. There's 84. We want to lose 200 feet. We're at 800 now. We want to lose 200 feet by the time we get to that little island out here off to the left. That's where we'll turn at 600 feet. Final. I'm slowing to 74. Reduce the power a little bit. Pitch up a little bit. Ups to go.
$500.
Full flaps, checklist is complete. Turning final, 600. And slowing to 64 knots. Four knots of crosswind. Quite on my center line yet. There you go. Looking for about 500 to 550 on our descent. Other wind's kind of dropped off, one out of tailwind. Committed. And that's why we have it in bypass on landing, guys. Some of you guys have wondered because all this grass clippings and everything can get sucked right into the engine. We put it on bypass and it sucks it right underneath the airplane instead. Well, I'm hoping that the RAA is done with their inspection so we can just load up and get out of here and be on our way over to Yembi. I haven't taken you guys in there quite yet, and to be honest, I don't know if I have quite enough battery power to do it today, so maybe another time, but thanks so much for joining me on this flight. Sure to appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, consider subscribing if this is the content you guys enjoy. And leave a comment and give it a thumbs up if so. turn our blowers all off, all of our lights off.